Jack Reigns, who's the biggest asshole you ever worked with?
Matt Hardy.
Reason?
Because Dean has 100 years in the business. Oh. Dean runs the match. That's how it goes. Jeff is totally opposite. Jeff is easygoing, cool. He don't care. Jeff is no problem.
You have a party with Jeff?
No, we're different. We're on different times or whatever, you know.
Slick Chris from Fall River, was there anyone in the ECW locker room that you didn't get along with?
Public Enemy.
Really? Yeah.
Because we were there to take their spot. They knew it, and it wasn't going well.
All right, Bruiser Brock from the board at F4W Online. Can you explain your heat with the Steiner brothers? Did your heat with the Steiners during the ECW stint carry over to WCW?
Don't have and never had any heat with them.
Okay. You see that? You see that damn internet?
I actually like the hell out of Robbie Steiner.
All right, let's see.
Scott, I don't know that much, never really saw it, but Robbie, I've been in Japan with him a million times. He's a great guy.
Adam K, another video.
The same guys do these videos over and over.
Send a lot of stuff.
Sean Oliver did an interview with Graham, and on that video, Graham is very outspoken about y'all's departure from WCW. He says that yourself, Malenko, Guerrero, and Benoit never drew a dime for WCW, and he was glad the four of y'all left. When did this tension start between you guys and Graham? Specifically, when could you sense the heat between Benoit and Graham? Sean, if you could, play a few clips from that DVD for Saturn to look at right now.
What are you, the fucking director, Adam? Okay, here you go. We have a show called Guest Booker that guy was on once.
So then
here's what Mike Graham said.
When he didn't get her to do anything to me, and when Bill Bush wasn't going to fire Kevin, then that's when I called him the little band of midgets. Little band of midgets ran to New York, and I said, I just saved our company $2.5 million.
Who's half a foot shorter than me, and he's calling me a midget.
Not a dime. Not a dime. I did the TVs. I had the TV people give me a minute-to-minute rating of all of our shows. I knew when people stopped watching, who they were watching, when they were tuning in. Those guys never drew a dime. Not one penny. People were changing the station, watching something else when they came on. How they convinced them into doing what they did, I don't know.
That's what he told us here. Your response, please.
Well, first of all, I know that Raven and I drew money. For years, I think my entire time in WCW, the highest rated Nitro segment was me, Raven, and Canyon in a six-man match. So, and I don't give a fuck what Mike thinks, you know. He's just a angry little man who, you know, Kevin Sullivan and him are backstabbing, dirty, good-for-nothing son of a bitches. And that's it, you know. And you can only draw what they push you to draw. You know, so it's not whether we drew, it's how they use us. But like I said, I know for a fact with the Flock and me against Raven drew them money.
Very good. Jeff Parker, Ontario, Canada. If Kevin Sullivan, J.J. Dillon, and Mike Graham were to walk in a room right now, what would you say to them? And please explain your thoughts on the three during your time in WCW.
Kevin Sullivan, Mike Graham, and who?
J.J.
I'd just say hello. I don't care. They got no value on my life at all, one way or the other.
Very good. Dewey from the board at F4W Online. A jobber named Vito DiNucci has called you the most unprofessional guy he ever wrestled, and memories of beating the fuck out of him on a WWF Jacked in 2002. Vito DiNucci.
I don't know who he is or where.
That's the guy that you roughed up in, I think.
No, not.
You have to be more clear
Mike
than
Bell.
that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I didn't think that.
No, there was a few.
No, Mike Bell was...
See, here's what happened. Here's what happened. The behind-the-scene bullshit that people don't know. Jerry Briscoe would grab the guy, and he would tell them all as a big joke. Listen, you know, Perry's an old-school guy. You're going to get his respect. You're really going to have to go out there and try and take some stuff and really just give it to him. As a joke, knowing that I'm going to lose my mind and beat the shit out of him. It happened all the time. I'd come back, and they'd all be in the gorilla position, laughing their asses off.
So you wouldn't catch heat for it when it happened? They liked it. Okay.
He would tell him, like he told some kid, you know, his family was there and stuff, and he really wanted to do good. And Jerry goes, the first thing I do is no sell. He goes, trust me. And then I'd come back and I'd be mad, and I knew who it was. I'd yell at them, and they'd all be laughing.
All right.
Because you don't have every agent in the building up front watching a fucking squash match unless something's going on.
Right. All right, well, It's time for What a Dick. I have a degree, I really do. You know, we're going to go through the names. It's similar to the hoe bag, but these are the men. You know, we're equal opportunity offenders here. If he's cool, he stays out. If he's a dick, Perry, he goes in the dick bag. Scott Hall.
Cool.
Disco.
Way cool. Way
Bradshaw.
cool. Cool.
Johnny Ace.
Cool.
Really?
Yeah.
First time out of the dick bag.
He's never
Make
been a
note of
dick
that.
to me. Shawn Michaels I like too.
Okay. Goldberg.
Yeah, he's all right. I mean, I don't think he's a dick. He's all right. I never had any problems with Bill.
Heyman.
Cool.
Brother.
Yeah, he's all right too.
Nash.
Way cool. Cool.
Taz.
Yep.
Jamie Dundee.
Cool.
Bob Holly.
Cool.
Bubba. Pause. Pregnant pause.
He's all right. He's all right.
He was a dick to, maybe not you, but generally a dick?
Yeah, not to me, but to some people that I was friendly with.
Maybe he goes in.
Yeah, but I'd give
Keep
him
him
a
out.
pass.
Give him a
Yeah.
pass. Charlie Sheen.
I don't know the man.
Okay.
He said anybody that got two porno stars living with him's all right in my book.
David Fliehr.
Dave was all right too.
Very good. Conan.
Conan's cool.
I'm going to put him in because he no-showed us and owes us
All
$500.
right. He was probably doing.
Fuck him. Sullivan.
Yeah, I'm gonna dick him for. I think so.
Lex.
He's all right.
Sabu.
Sabu's cool.
Pitbull 1.
It's cool. New Jack's cool.
Jack. Go ahead, Mike Graham.
Yeah, we can put him in there too.
Raven.
He's cool.
Vince.
Kinda. Raven's kinda cool. Vince is cool.
Shane.
Shane's all right too.
Triple H.
He's way cool.
The Rock.
He's cool.
Nate.
He's cool.
Russo.
Cool.
Bischoff.
He was always cool with me too. I can only go by. And
Yeah.
Kevin's cool too. I like
Really? Kevin Dunn?
Yeah, I never had
This
a
is
problem with
shocking.
him.
Hey, you have to put over that I'm actually in the room when you just say I'm okay cool, as opposed to your best friend in the business.
I already covered that a long time
We
ago.
got slip and slides,
and all
dildos,
the
you better be
drugs
friends.
we did, so I've already covered that.
Okay, so only Conan by proxy, Mike Graham. Kevin Sullivan hit the bag.
And you didn't have some of the names that I would have thrown in.
Who would you have put in? That's
Matt
fine.
Hardy.
Right. Right. Anyone else?
So like, give me a minute to think. I'm sure there's a couple other people.
Who else?
No, I think that's probably it. That's really the only person that I really just don't like.
Bill Shaw.
No, I like Paulie. Paulie's crazy as fuck, but I
Heyman was
like
there.
Paulie.
Some of those WCW guys that came in at the end. Bill Bush was pretty cool, right? Most people like Bill
I
Bush.
was only there for a couple days with him. We
Right.
got our release. So I don't know.
Potpourri. The Hess Express. God help us, here he is again. There you go.
This is the Hez Express here from the police of the Mark Studios. And my question for you, Perry Saturn, is how long does it take for some stupid ass jabroni to tap out from the race of Saturn? Can you demonstrate that for us on Sean Oliver?
That'd be a
Have
no.
fun,
But in general, you can
Suck it like a little
answer the
girl.
question, how long does it take a jabroni to tap out?
When we were in WCW, I met this. I can't remember his name. He won a gold medal for the U.S. in judo, and he was using the Ring of Saturn because he was a big WCW fan.
Wow.
So he was using it as a submission hold. I can't remember the guy's name now, though. He was a smaller guy in a smaller weight class, but yeah, he won like a national title with the Rings of Saturn.
As a tribute.
And then but he also later won a gold medal for the U.S. in judo.
Kamala Rambo from the crap board. For years you were billed as being from Boston, Massachusetts. As a Massachusetts native, I never detected a Boston accent from you. Also, the ever-reliable Wikipedia claims you're from Ohio, and I've heard you were from some else, Georgia. I know you trained with Killer Kowalski in Malden, Massachusetts, but why do you claim you're from someplace you're not? So where are you from?
My home is Boston. I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, but my home is Boston.
Very good. Dewey from the board at F4W Online. Who's more behind on child support payments, Ricky Morton or you?
I'm not behind on child support payments.
Well, there's your answer, Ricky Morton.
I made a lot of money, and so did my kid's mother made a lot of money from me.
Sanyo, board at F4W Online. Can you explain why Shawn Michaels is cross-eyed?
I don't know, since I'm cross-eyed, I didn't know he was cross-eyed. Maybe you don't look cross-eyed when you're cross-eyed.
Brockzilla 82, board at F4W. Did you ever or would you ever attend church with Vince Russo?
No, I never attended church with Vince Russo. And what was his name?
Brockzilla?
Oh, because sometimes they called me Cockzilla, so I was just wondering.
I'll take the bait. Why, Perry?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Green or huge?
I have no idea.
All right. Brad Bingham has...
I asked him to stop calling me
I
it,
wonder how
though.
much money did you get for being in some of them WWE video games?
WWE video games. Any good money for those?
Yep. Yeah, that's all right. It's money for nothing, too.
No residuals on video games. That's my main complaint with my union. Junk Mail Dog from the board at F4W Online. Do you still get royalties from WCW versus NWO Revenge?
No.
No, there's no royalties on video games.
WWE, I still get royalties, but not...
From the videos and stuff,
Yeah,
maybe, the
yeah.
DVDs. Greg Pike, what was the first big ticket item you bought when you started making good money?
Probably a car. Yes.
What'd you buy?
Sebring at the time I bought a Sebring convertible.
Eric Smith, ever have a scary flight?
One time, I was working for New Japan. My first time I worked for New Japan, we were on a flight in somewhere over there on Japan Air, and this flight was so bad. Brad Armstrong was on the plane with me, Hawk, Tony Holm. Brad Armstrong and I both were writing farewell letters to our wives that we thought we were crashing. The joke of the whole thing is, when the plane landed, Hawk got up, stretched, and it was the best flight he's ever been on. I really thought we were going to die on that flight.
Wow. Bruiser Brock from the board at F4W. Good question. Do you watch MMA? If you were at a younger age, would you have given MMA a shot?
No, I don't want to fight anybody. I do watch it, it's cool, but them guys fight each other for 15 minutes. You ever been in a fight? They last 20 seconds. I don't want to fight nobody 15 minutes.
Mike Kinney, you have to pick a favorite bar, the Nasty or the Gone? Is that how that's pronounced? The G-O-N?
Where's it at? Oh, right there, gone.
Do you know those bars?
The Aragon is what that is,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
guessing. But my favorite bar, but doesn't exist anymore, is the Taj Mahal. In Atlanta, it was a strip club there that they closed down.
Reid, Tarrdid, Fliehr. Reid, Tarrdid, Fliehr. Got it. Just got it. Friend of mine swears that you, Perry Saturn, were working the door at a bar in Mason City, Iowa, a while ago and talked to you at length about what you were doing at the time. It would have been within a year or two of your last appearance on television. Was it truthful, or was he simply a prevaricator? I want you to remember that you told me you were working for Sonny Ono at the car dealership he ran or something.
Yeah, I did for a while. It was more than after a year I was on TV, though. It was a few years back, 6, 7 years ago. I told you I was homeless in Atlanta, and Sonny tried to give me a helping hand up, you know, and I went to Iowa, where he's from, Mason City, and I got a job. I worked with his dealership during the day, but I'm not really a car guy, you know. And then I got a job working the door at a bar, too.
Huh. Brad sends us this.
Yo, Saturn, you know, I was wondering, when you was on the road traveling, what places did you like to eat at? You know, let me know, brother.
What places did you frequent of the fast food or?
Well, we probably ate, if I could eat breakfast, probably at IHOP. And I like the Outback steakhouses.
Sanyo, the board at F4W, what does your diet consist of?
I used to just eat chicken. That was just about it, you know. Now I eat all kinds of junk. That's how I got fat. But I used to just eat chicken.
Kyle Sands, do you get into gyms for free while on the road?
Sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't. Most of the time you probably do, because you're in this town a few times a year, and you always go to the same place.
Penguins fan. I was at a Monday Night Raw in January 2001 at Mellon Arena in Pittsburgh. I remember telling my friend I wanted to have shoulders as big as Perry's. I was just wondering how much weight you were bench pressing and military pressing around this time period, 2001. Bench and military.
I know that I was doing, because I remember having a conversation with Kurt Angle about this 315 behind the neck for 3, which he thought was a lot, but then Kane would come by and do it for like 12. So, and I was I could do 525 triple on the bench back then. But I was a big steroid user, you know.
Right. Mike Kinney, how'd you land a spot in that House of Pain music video?
Paulie hooked me up.
All right. All right, Brad. More Brad.
And I'm wondering, what kind of television shows does Perry Saturn like?
All right. Now my favorite show on TV is Criminal Minds. I watch that all the time. And I like Seinfeld, you know, stupid shit like that. Family Guy. I don't know anybody that doesn't like Family Guy. American Dad.
Sinbad from the board. What movies make you cry?
Trying to think of last time I cried at. Oh, it happens. I get emotional every now and then, but I can't think of the last time I cried at a movie.
Did you see The Wrestler?
No, I haven't seen it. I lived it.
Yeah. That's Sanyo, the board at F4W. What was the last movie that you saw that wasn't a porno?
I don't watch that many pornos anymore. I just watched what's the vampire show with Emilio Estevez?
Lost Boys.
Lost Boys, The Thirst, the third one. I just watched the third one. On Netflix. Can't beat that gimmick.
The Boys is the next chapter. Adam K. has sent us this. Nice shirt.
What is the craziest story you have regarding New Jack? I've seen some shoot interviews with him and he seems fucking nuts at times. So I'm sure you have some pretty interesting stories to tell. So let's have it.
New Jack.
My time with New Jack was in ECW mostly, and everybody was just as crazy, so he wouldn't stick out any more than anybody else there.
Eric Smith, has any wrestler ever intimidated you?
No.
Salvatore M., to become an Army Ranger, it's safe to say that you could be considered a pretty tough guy, so you should be a good judge of what tough is. With that preface, could you please tell us which wrestlers tried to look tough but were really not? Conversely, which wrestlers were tough but didn't look so tough? Who mightn't we think?
Tell you somebody who is wicked tough, and I don't think people really give him the credit for Chris Jericho. Chris and I worked for Tenryu a million years ago for his company called War, and there was a tour that he worked with this guy named Katao, who's like a 6'8", 6'9", or something, kickbox champion, big giant. Chris would be covered in bruises from this fucking guy kicking him the whole match. Chris never backs down. He never complained. Scott Steiner and One Nitro thought he was going to eat Chris up, and it did not happen. I'm not saying he couldn't whoop Chris's ass. I don't know. But I'm telling you, Chris is a tough kid, and he ain't backing down from nobody.
Now, who would we look at physically and might think that they were tough but actually was not?
I think pretty much most of the boys can probably handle themselves a little bit. You know, I can't.
New Jack was fond of telling us that that Taz was a little bitch who talked tough but couldn't back anything up. Do you share that opinion, or is that not true?
I don't think Taz would be a very good fighter, but he never really talked any shit to me, so I don't know. Taz and I were always friendly.
Bitch was not my words, it was his. Jeff Parker, Ontario, Canada. Looking at the WCW locker room in 1998, you've got Perry Saturn, Fit Finlay, Rick Steiner, Meng, Barbarian, Scott Norton, Jim Duggan. Who's the toughest? Who's a poser? Who's the last man standing in a fight? We dealt with the other two. Who's the last man standing there? Saturn, Finley, Steiner, Meng, Barbarian, Norton, Duggan.
Tonga for sure. No, there's not even a question. And then Barbarian would survive. He might be the only one Tonga didn't kill, but none of us would stand a chance against Ming.
Okay.
They wouldn't stand a chance against him.
All right, this chapter.
And he's the nicest guy in the world, too.
Right.
Polite, friendly, loving, happy. And he would literally kill every one of us in the blink of an eye, and there wouldn't be nothing we could do about it.
Rest in peace. CGA. How did Eddie Gilbert's death affect you?
I was really young, and I felt bad, you know. Like I remember I called Doug and didn't get him, but I left him a message. Eddie Gilbert helped me out a lot. When I first went to Memphis, they did everything so strictly, you know, kayfabe, and like the baby faces dress in one dressing room, the heels dress in another dressing room. You don't see each other. You do everything in the ring, and that's really where you learn how to work, you know. And something happened at the show where somebody didn't show up or something, and the ref came up to me and goes, "Hey, you got to do a 45-minute Broadway with Eddie tonight." And I was freaking out. What? I go, "How the fuck are we going to do that? Can I talk to him?" He goes, "No, Eddie said just relax and listen to him." 45 minutes went by just like that. And I worked a long program with Eddie, and that's how you learn how to work, you know. Eddie was very helpful to me.
Scott from Pennsylvania, there's a rumor online that you had a son that was killed in a car accident right before you signed with WCW. Is there any truth to this rumor? I'm sorry in advance if this offended you.
No.
Okay.
I don't know what that's from.
Alan Wojcik.
You can't believe everything you hear.
I'm learning that. Yeah. Alan Wojcik, Online World of Wrestling, Genesis Message Board. What was your initial reaction to hearing about the passing of Eddie?
I was very sad. Still am sad about it.
Eric Smith, how did you find out about the Benoit tragedy, and how did you react?
Chris is a hard thing. I can't imagine that. Chris and I, you know, I was very close with them guys. We traveled together all the time, always talked every day. And, you know, I would go out on the road. I was a big time partier, and I'd drag Chris out with me sometimes. And Chris would party a little bit, and every night, and I'd be chasing every skirt in the place. And every night Chris would tell me, you know, "Hey Perry, I'll go out, we'll hang out and stuff, but I'm not going to cheat on Nancy," you know. And he was serious. He was like, from what I thought was a good, you know, like a faithful husband and stuff. So I have no idea what happened. It's really hard to comprehend. I can't imagine. And he always loved his kids. You know, and he's got two other kids that are still alive. You know, it's just something I don't understand.
David Allen, what are your feelings toward the death of your former tag team partner, John Cronus?
It's tragic. I don't know. It sucks. You know, you don't want to see anybody die. John had a lot of demons too. You know, and
Mike Kinney, where were you when you heard about the passing of Cronus, and did you go to the funeral?
no, I didn't go to the funeral. I was bad on drugs myself and just unavailable. You know.
Did you hear about it long after the fact?
Yeah. Once I got clean, I knew when Eddie passed away. I knew when Dean did. I mean, Chris did, but a lot of guys, Canyon and John Cronus, my partner. You know, I found out years later after I got sober, because I was just totally out of the wrestling loop. Didn't talk to anybody. You know.
Bruiser Brock from the board. When did you hear about the death of Killer Kowalski? What was your reaction?
That sucked. I missed that funeral too because I was on drugs. Well, Walter was a great guy.
Jack Reigns, were you friends with Chris Kanyon? Did you think he was held back in WWE because he was gay?
I didn't know he was gay, and I don't think that's why he was held back. They just didn't use a lot of guys properly. So I was actually surprised to hear he was gay, not that it mattered to me any, you know. But yeah, I was good friends with Chris.
Scott from Pennsylvania, so many of the wrestlers you have known died while you were away from the business. Bossman, Candido, Guerrero, Johnny Grunge, Bam Bam, Benoit, Cronus, Brian Adams, Killer Kowalski, Steve Williams, Chris Kanyon, Luna Vachon. When you found out about their death, which one shocked you the most?
Well, Benoit, of course. The Bennett's whole situation was too much.
The Radicals. Shark Wrestling from Kayfabe Memories message board. How tight was he with the other Radicals? Eddie, Chris, and Dean seemed like they went way back, whereas Perry seemed to get latched onto the group when they made the jump from WCW to WWF.
I got latched onto the group in WCW. What happened, Arn, he had that neck problem and he wasn't going to be able to work anymore, so they were trying to find a new fourth horseman. And Dean and Chris came to me and asked me if I would be interested in being the replacement for Arn, you know, and that's how I started talking to them guys. Worked against them a million times and stuff, but never really hung out with them, you know, and that was a big respect moment, you know, and we started hanging out. And then since they went a different route with the Four Horsemen, they still put me and Dean and Chris together, you know, and then they put Shane into it, you know. And then so from that time, we were traveling together all the time. For years, I spent more time with them than I did with anybody. Holidays with them and everything, because you're on the road, you know.
Joey Jojo Jr. Shabadoo from the Crap Forum. What was the first moment in WCW where you thought, I want out?